In this episode of Gogopreneur, we have done our research, and research shows that you guys prefer me monologuing on the screen here and into your ears. So in this episode, we are going to talk about building email databases and how email is still a thing and how you need to own your databases. Because if you think about it, let's think about it for a second. On your social media profiles, on your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your LinkedIns, and your TikToks of the world, do you own that profile? No, you don't. Guess who does? Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they own it. So which means you have to own your database. So in this episode of Gogopreneur, we are going to figure out what are the important steps that you need to take in order to own your own database. Now, as you're listening to this episode and you're hearing the links that I'm talking about, because I'm going to mention a couple of things like a ChatGPT prompt and all of these things, make sure that you go to the episode on gogopreneur.com to get all of your links. So each of the episodes of Gogopreneur, you can listen on any podcast. But if you want the links to that episode, you need to go to gogopreneur.com, find that specific episode, and the links that I'm mentioning in the episode itself are listed on the episode's page. Sounds good? Let's get started.
Welcome to Gogopreneur, where Gogo Bethke, your host, interviews badass rock star entrepreneurs of the world, figuring out who they are, how they got to where they're at, and the lessons they learned along the way, so you can learn those lessons and turn it into money. Let's go get them.
So how to create a database for email marketing, right? That's what we are going to cover today. And why email marketing? As I explained it early in the intro, right? Why is it important? Because you need to own your database. If one day any of these platforms just kind of cuts your account, you're going to need to be able to send a quick email and, hey guys, I started a new account, follow me here. Also, you need to be able to understand that some people don't spend so much time on social media, but they open their emails every single day, right? So you need to exist on every single platform. You need to communicate in every single language with them. So you speak their love language so you can get through to them, okay? Also, email is still one of the highest ROI. And why? Because email is free. Right? Like you don't have to, if you want to have algorithms and see the back end of your emailing system, yeah, you have to pay for the service. But other than that, email, you don't have to pay to get into someone's account, right? So the return on your investment, your ROI, is actually very low because you don't have to spend upfront in order to end up in their database. So it is very important to have an email database. What is the goal? Building and maintaining relationships at scale, generating leads, nurturing potential clients, and driving sales. Think of it this way. What if you send 20 emails a day and those people, for 5 days a week? That's 100 emails in a week, right? What if they each spent $1 with you? That's $100, right? I want you to think of every single email that goes out into an email address. It's a potential income source for you. It's also a great way to build relationship with these people and let them get to know you, just like social media, right? Where they watch your videos and they get familiar with you. You can do that in email if you're writing really meaningful emails. Your email list is one of your key assets, so you need to start using it. Even now, if you're saying that you're not necessarily using email, yes, you are. Everybody uses email. Maybe you haven't used it consciously to necessarily reach people. Maybe you're just using it for communication back and forth for a transaction or whatever's going on in your life. But I want you to go into and just see how many email addresses you already have. And then we are going to figure out who is your target audience. Who would you want to reach, right? Who do you want to talk to? Who is that person that most likely is going to use you for whatever services, buy your products, all of that? Who are you targeting? So are you targeting buyers, if you're a realtor, sellers, investors, agents? Who is your target audience? And if you're listening to this and you're not in real estate, let's say you have a yoga shop, right? A yoga studio. Who's your target audience? It's definitely not somebody who doesn't want to exercise, right? For you would be someone who absolutely enjoys yoga. The question is how and where you're going to find them, how you're going to target your audience, what kind of information you're going to provide to them, right? Segmenting early. Don't wait until later to figure out who your audience. Sometimes what people do is they just send emails just to send emails so they can just check it off from their to-do list today, right? I don't want you to do that. I want you to really think about who is your target audience, what is their love language, and what do you want to achieve with that email, and then have a very clear call to action at the end of every single email. But most importantly, segmenting your audience early, meaning that you know who your buyers and sellers are, you know who your hot leads are, you know who the first-time home buyers are, you know who someone who's already a member of your yoga studio versus someone who just came to visit but haven't purchased a membership yet, versus somebody who's just trying to kind of figure out what is this new yoga studio in town, right? So you're going to have to target them differently. But in order to be able to target them differently, you have to tag them differently, right? So you have to do different segments in your business of who is who. So in my databases, I want you to think about this way. I have multiple different companies, right? So I have the Gogopreneurs of the world, and I have the Gogo's real estate team, and I have the team Gogo, and I have the GoGet'em community, and I have my circle coaching clients, and all of these are different buckets, right? So for example, I cannot, or I should not, message one of my past clients about my circle because they're not in the industry of entrepreneurship. They just bought a house from me, right? So it's very important to make sure that you segment up your potential buyers and sellers and whoever that you are targeting, and you don't accidentally send an email that doesn't belong to that group. Just as I said earlier, customizing your messages, right? It is very important because you don't want to send how much your home is worth, for example, if you're a realtor, to someone who's a first-time home buyer. They clearly don't have a home, right? So you need to know who is in your database, and in order to know who they are, you tag them. So as soon as that lead comes in, depending where they came from, you're going to tag them: potential client, sphere of influence, past client, referral partner, whatever that these different categories they are for you, so then you don't accidentally send a specific group the wrong email. Let's use this. Use your mind for 3 to 4 seconds right now and give me 3 or 4 segments in your email database that you know right now that you should have. Who are they? Right? So if you're using the yoga studio, what type of email addresses do you think that yoga studio has? I'm sure they have email addresses from people who are current members. They have email addresses from people who visited and just got like a visitor pass but haven't purchased a membership. They also have people who've been a member, but they're not a member anymore. They also have people who maybe came to an event that was at the yoga studio, but never actually done yoga or never actually got a membership, right? So if you're using the yoga studio as an example, who do you have in your business, and what are the different categories that you can think of right now? 3 to 4, that's your base. So we're going to start with the base, and you're going to create a tag for that base. So it might be sphere of influence, past clients, people from open houses, social media followers. Like I just gave you 4, okay? And then we need to start collecting email addresses, and how we are going to do that. There's multiple ways that you can do that, right? So think of it this way. You have to have a homepage, right? You have to have a website where you can take people to get familiar with you, and also where you can create the freebies, and then you can give away those freebies and collect their information. In real estate, we have a site like KV Core, right? So people go to it, they can look at a picture of a property. If they like it, they get to, ask you for more questions. They get to see like 2 or 3 photos. But in order to see the full listing, they have to give you their name and email address. So the system automatically generates that information for us. Also, you can create blogs, right? And on that blog, they can ask you questions. And in order for you to respond back to them, right, you have to collect their email addresses. Property listings, that's the one that I just explained from KV Core. But very, very important for all of you, no matter what line of business you are in, you have to have a home page for that business or that arm of your business, okay? Lead magnets, so free buyer's guide, for example, on gogobetki.com, you can find this, but I always have, every single month, I have a different free lead magnet, which means that my team puts together a top 10 tips for agent attraction. They put together how to customize your ChatGPT, how to hire a VA, right? Like every single month we have a different lead magnet, because times change. Also, lead magnets get old on your website. You don't want to have the same thing up there for a year because people's like, well, I downloaded that already, right? So you want to, and you also, as you're doing the lead magnets, you're going to realize that many of the same people are going to be the one who come back and going to download one after another. So are you really collecting email addresses every time they download something for free? No, because they're already in your database. So that's really not our target audience, but we are doing these free lead magnets to get all of the ones who it's like the first time they found their way to your website. Okay. You can also do in real estate, like neighborhood market updates, exclusive listings, like anything that you can think of that can generate you an email address. But the freebies, the free monthly email drip campaigns or whatever that you want to give away are the ones that going to he just walked in to do a quick little video of me and you heard his phone ring. Don't you just love it when something goes sideways? So he just walked in to do a quick little video so I have something to post on my social media, and then his phone went off. So that's what that happened there. But I want you to think about it. If you're doing one a month, if you're doing a lead magnet one a month, I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, this is so exhausting. And now I have to come up with concepts and then I have to create the ebooklet and all that. No, think of it. Just sit down now. There's only 12 months in a year. Sit down now, plan out your whole year and say in January, I'm going to have a free VA magnet. Then I'm going to have a buyer's guide. Then I'm going to have a seller's guide. Then I'm going to do a social media marketing 10 tips. Then I'm going to do the blah, 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 right? And then have your assistants. You should not be doing this work. Your virtual assistant should be creating the content. And today it's so easy, guys. You're just going to go to ChatGPT and say like, hey, here, ChatGPT, I want to create an ebooklet on the top 10 tips of agent attraction or whatever that ebooklet is about, right? And I want you to put it into a blog format. I want you to put it in whatever and just go blah, 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 and there is your thing and you're ready to go, okay? Open houses in real estate are also a very, very, very good source for it. And KV Core has an app that allows you to literally have an open house sign-in sheet. So when someone comes, you'll have to your open house, you have a iPad, right? They log in order to see the property. I used to tell my the people at my open house, hey, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers require everyone to sign in who wants to walk their property. So please sign in. When they sign in is when they get to tour the property, right? And then guess what happens when they sign in? They give you their name, email address, phone number, which automatically through the KV Core app feeds into your KV Core database, right? So if they came to an open house, are they a seller or a buyer? How will you tag them? You're going to tag them as a buyer, right? So then when I'm sending out a buyer email, these people are already tagged. They're going to get my email then if it pertains to buyer. Networking events, Eventbrite, and Go High Level. Like as you are going to events and you're collecting business cards, everybody's name, email address, phone number is in there, right? So you are going to manually at that point enter them, right? But enter all of these connections that you are making. You should have a VA to do this. So you could just go to the event, take pictures of all of the business cards that you have collected, have your VA enter them into the CRM program of your choice. For me, that's Go High Level, right? And then you're good to go. Also, if you're using Eventbrite, so if you are hosting an event and creating one online, Eventbrite, for example, is a great source. But inside of Go High Level, there's something that works like Eventbrite, but I can't think of the name anymore. So don't quote me on it, but we use Go High Level for everything now. But if you are creating an event, in order for people to purchase a ticket or, join your event, they have to sign up. In order to sign up, they have to give you an email address so you can send them a confirmation. So events are also very good for you to collect these people's information, but then you are going to tag them accordingly. So if this is a first buyer seminar, first time home buyer seminar, and everybody who signs up, are you going to tag them as sellers? No, you're going to tag them as buyers, right? Because they came to that event. If you are doing an agent attraction event, for example, everybody who signs up, who do you think they are? They are agents. So you're going to tag them as agents. It is very important to tag every single contact in your inbox because you have to send customizable messages. And the only way you can do that is by segmenting them and putting them into these different groups. Now, social media is also awesome to collecting all of this. So if you watch my stories, so if you go to Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram and you watch my stories, you will see that periodically, once a week, twice a week, sometimes, whatever our monthly freebie is, you're going to see it in my stories. If you would like to figure out how to build your email database, click here and here are my top 10 tips. Guess what's going to happen when you click there? It's going to take you to a kind of like a Google sheet, I guess. You're going to sign up. You're going to give name, email address, phone number. Because in order for me to be able to send you my top 10 tips on the email report, right, I have to email it to you. In order to do that, I need to have your email address. So I use my social media to give freebies, to collect my followers' information so that I can build my email database. God forbid one day I lose my account, which sure hope is going to be never, right? But if that's the case, you need to be building a secondary database that you own. Okay. And then also, every time you're doing an event online or you're doing anything online, don't ever give anything away directly. Don't do it like, click here to download the report, right? No. Click here to get access to the report, then collect their information, then email them the report. Don't give them direct access to the link, because then you're not going to capture their information. Don't rely on just one source. Multiple touch points mean a bigger, more diverse list. So what do I mean by that? Everyone prefers a different social media platform. Like, my love language on social media is Instagram, but some people prefer LinkedIn, and some people prefer Facebook, and some people prefer TikTok, right? So in order for you to find me, you would have to be marketing on Instagram, because if you're marketing on LinkedIn, I couldn't tell you the last time I logged into LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, but through my VAs, not me personally, right? So I'm never going to see your post if you're posting it on LinkedIn. So, which means that you need to exist on every single platform in order to talk your audience's love language, so in order to capture their information. So when you're doing a freebie on Instagram, if that's your love language, that same freebie should be on Facebook, it should be on LinkedIn, it should be on TikTok, it should be everywhere, so you can capture their information while you speak their love language on their social media platforms. Okay. Let's talk about tools to manage this database, because if you're doing this right, you're going to have a massive database that is going to be a little baby beast on its own, and you're going to need tools. I'm huge for, yes, there are certain things that you need human capital for, but there's certain things that needs to be automated, right? Like if a system can do it, let a system do it, right? Still, a human has to set up the systems, but after it's set up, the system should work automatically 24/7. A system doesn't get sick, a system doesn't need vacation, a system doesn't have babies, a system works all the time 24/7. So I'm huge on systems. So let's talk about tools that you can manage your database with. Choosing the right CRM program. There's so many of them, guys, that you can do. Today, I use Go High Level because inside of Go High Level, you can have multiple what they call sub-accounts, or as I like to call them, buckets. So instead of having an account for my emails for this company, and then this company, and then this company, and then this company, and all the databases are separate from each other, I have one database, which is Go High Level. And inside of Go High Level, I have all of my sub-accounts, which are each of the company. And each of those companies have their own email database. So, but what I noticed through the years, if you had followed me for a long time, you might have started out with me as just an Instagram follower, right? And then you bought something, or you downloaded one of my free ebooklets, but then you also bought my agent attraction bootcamp, and then you bought my social media bootcamp, and then you became a coaching client, and now you're a GoGet'em community member, and now you listen to my Gogopreneur podcast, right? So through the years, we have crossed paths in multiple different ways. So your email address, your contact info might be in all of my different buckets, or might be 3 out of the 9 buckets, right? So as people, so said, graduate through life steps with you, they might end up in multiple different buckets. So it might look like you're getting 5 emails from me just because over time you have become a part of 5 of my companies out of the 9. Does that make sense? So I personally, instead of having 9 accounts for 9 different businesses, I have one Go High Level account. Inside that Go High Level account, I have multiple sub-accounts that have their own databases. So it's one login. My whole team spends their all day in Go High Level. What is SendGrid? Now, I like, guys, it's 11:11. I have to show you just because my phone lit up. And you guys know I love angel numbers. I'm doing the right thing at the right time. How exciting. Okay. So SendGrid is kind of like the algorithm behind the emails that you're sending out. So I like to know that we are not just sending it to send it. I like to know that how many did we send and actually made it out? Because sometimes what you notice is that you have, let's say, 15,000 email addresses, and you sent to all 15,000, but somehow only 11,000 received it. Why? Right? Then you have a problem you need to figure out. Also, let's say that all 15,000 received it, but only 7,000 opened it. You're like, okay, well, that's actually a very good opening rate. That's almost 50%, right? So you need to know, does everyone receive your emails? When they receive it, do they open it? And when they open it, do they click the link? So that's the click-through rate, the CTR, right? So because when they click the link is where you are going to sell them something. So if you send 15,000 emails and 7,000 of them opened it and 3,000 clicked the link, that means that, a quarter of the people, less than a quarter of the people actually click the link and potentially going to purchase something from you. In order to do that, I like to see the algorithm. So we use SendGrid for that. So then I can get a report and get a good understanding what's going on in my email database. Okay. don't get the list get messy. So let's start organizing from the start. So I don't want you to just send emails so you can be like, okay, I listened to your episode, I started sending emails. No. I want you to do it and do it right and segment the people, send them the right correspondence, but also start building the organizational things in the background to keep that list clean. Okay, what do I mean by keep the list clean? When you start tracking it through SendGrid, right, or whatever other algorithm you're going to use, when you start tracking it, you're going to realize that a specific email address have not opened your emails in the last 6 months. Those people need to be removed from your list. Why? Because it messes with the average of your opening rate. And so if you don't have a healthy opening rate, then why are you doing it? Why to send emails, right? You want to have a very high opening rate, which the average opening rate in United States in this year was 21%. Mine is somewhere between 48 to 50%ish, right? So that means every 10 email I send, 5 people opening it, right, in average. And that's what you want. You don't want to do something just to do it. So periodically, I would say once every 6 months, go through your list and make sure the dead weight is removed. Tag the people. Every single email that is in your database has to have at least one tag, if not multiple tags. So for example, can one person be in my email database? Can one person be in multiple buckets? Yes, they can. I explained you how that works before, right? So let's say it's Jessica Smith in my database. Let's say Jessica Smith is in the Team Gogo organization. She's going to get hashtag Team Gogo tag in her profile. Let's say she's also an agent. She's going to get, of course she's an agent. She's in Team Gogo, right? So she's going to get agent tag. Let's say she is also a part of the GoGet'em community membership. She's going to get also hashtag GoGet'em community. So that means if I'm sending an email to the Team Gogo organization, Jessica's going to get it. If I'm sending an email that's specific to agents, Jessica's going to get it. If I'm sending an email to my GoGet'em community membership, Jessica's going to get it because she has that tag for everything that she has partaken with me, right? So tagging them, very, very important. So let's talk about integrating with other tools. So sync your your CRM with social media, website forms, and lead generation tools, and automate the process. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you created this form, that free giveaway, right, that you are doing right now for your top 10 tips for social media marketing, right? That's on your website. Well, in order for them to get the top 10 tips, remember it's a form. They're going to have to fill it out, give you their information. When they give you their information, your system automatically going to send them this report. Okay, then what happens? You also want to take it one more step, and that information that gets collected that's on the spreadsheet now needs to feed automatically to your CRM database. You can do it multiple different ways. You can do it with Zapier integration. But now lately, a lot of these CRM programs have automatic systems where you can link it to your Google. But if not, you can use Zapier. Zapier is like the link between two different things. It's kind of like if this, then that. So Zapier is in the middle. If someone fills out this spreadsheet, then send it to this CRM program. That's what it is, right? So you want to automate all of these steps. You want to automate the spreadsheet where it collects their information. You want to automate the steps when it sends them out, what they signed up for, but you also want to automate the step that sends their information into your CRM program and tags them properly, right? So you say, when this person comes from this form, that must be an agent who downloaded my top 10 tips for social media marketing. So tag them as agent and put them into the all database. Sounds good? So automate your processes. Setting these systems up, guys, it is tedious. It is annoying. It is going to take a long time, but you only set it up one time and it will work for you until the cows come home. So 10 years from now, when someone goes to your social media profile and downloads the free social media top 10 tips for social media marketing, the system's going to work for you all the time. Now, anything that can break will break, Murphy's Law, right? So yes, there are times where automation stops working and you have to go in there and fix it. But the idea is that most of the time will work. So tech tips. If you're serious about scaling, pick a CRM that can grow with you, don't cheap out. So what I mean by it, I have made this mistake in the past where I was like, well, this one is only $29 a month. Yeah, but it had no features. It had no bells and whistles, and I have outgrown it faster than I can say I'm sorry. And they started charging for every 1,000 email I sent out or whatever it was, right? So I would recommend, if you know this is something that you want to do and you want to grow into sending millions of emails, right? That means you need to sign up with the platform, with the CRM program that will give you all the possible bells and whistles that 2024 can offer. Don't cheap out on it. Again, I use Go High Level. And then my team will put my Go High Level affiliate link in the episode's description. So please go to gogopreneur.com, find this episode, and in the description, you're going to find all of these links that I'm talking about, okay? Step 4, build trust through email campaigns. Just like on social media, guys, I say this all the time. If you allow people to get to know you, they will trust you. And over time, they will buy whatever you are selling. So same in emails. You can't go straight for the kill. You kind of have to ease them into getting to know you, earning their trust, just like you're doing it on social media. And then don't hard sell. If you keep selling in every single email, they're going to stop opening your emails. So this is just like life. The more you give, the more you get. So you give, sell. Give, sell. Make sense? Okay. We talked about don't sell right away. Your first few emails should be about building a relationship, not selling something. So again, allow them to get to know you, then nurture them over time. Send a series of welcome emails to introduce yourself, provide value, and set expectations. So if you're just starting this email campaign, right? Send them the very first email and be like, hey guys, I decided to use email just the same way I use social media. I really want to know you. I know some of you don't spend time on social media as much as I do, but you do open your emails. So I want to have a relationship with you. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Then the next few emails I'm going to send is going to be descriptions of where I am in my career, and just for you to really get to know me, to see if you want to have this relationship with me, just FYI, right? Ease them into the process. Provide value constantly, share useful information, market reports, how-to guides, tips relevant to their situation. So if you're on my email list, which if you are not and you would like to get on my email list, you can just go to gogobethke.com. There's going to be a pop-up, download the newest freebie that I'm giving away, and you're automatically going to be entered into my email list. Of course, you can remove yourself at any time. And let's talk about that super quick. There are rules to the email situation, right? So I want you to Google what are the rules, what are the newest rules to sending mass email, and you have to abide by that. So you do have to have the stop feature in the bottom, right? So someone can unsubscribe from your emails at any time. Of course, I have that. You can unsubscribe from my emails at any time for any reason. But if you have ever downloaded anything from me, trust me, you're going to be put automatically into my email database. If you no longer want to receive those emails, just unsubscribe, right? So just make sure, guys, when you're doing that, that someone has the ability to subscribe or unsubscribe at any time. Personalization is key. Use their first name, reference how you met, open house referral. Now, reference how you met, it might not work it won't work. Okay, let me start it first. One thing, use their first name. Every email, there's a structure, and in the structure, you can say, always start with, hey, first name. So then the system knows to from that first name column to grab their information. So when I'm getting emails from other people, it says, hey, Gogo, right? When you are getting emails from me, it says, hey, Jessica, hey, Adam, hey, Alex, whatever your first name is. So you are going to call them by name so they feel like you're literally talking to them. And then the next one is reference how you met, meaning if I'm sending out, let's say I did an open house at 123 Main Street and I had 11 couples come through, 22 people, I collected those email addresses, right? Then I'm going to send an email and say, hey guys, thank you so much for visiting my open house at 123 Main Street. It was so excited to meet you. Just wanted to give you a heads up. 11 couples walked through, 3 of them seem very serious, blah, 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 right? So then they know that, oh, this only came to us because we attended the open house. Whatever that is, maybe it's an event, right? But now that you have that event tagged and, everybody came to your first-time homebuyer seminar, and they are tagged as first-time homebuyer seminar event attendees, right? Then when you send in the report, they're only sending it to the people who were at that specific event, okay? Pro tip. If you want engagement, make sure your emails aren't all about you. Focus on their needs and periodically ask for their opinion so they respond, and that makes a healthy account. So what do I mean by that? When you're figuring out who is your target audience, I also want you to figure out what is the pebble in their shoe, what problems do they have, and then create the solution to that problem. Money changes hands when problems get solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay you to solve that problem. So when you figure out who is your target audience, who is most likely to buy or sell a product or a service from you, then what is the problem that you're going to solve for them? And then write the content about that problem. So when they're reading it, they're like, oh yeah, we do have that problem. And oh my gosh, there's a solution. Let me click the link and buy it, right? So you definitely want to do that. Periodically, you also want to ask your audience their opinion about something. Why? Because you want your email address not just going an outbound email account, but also be an inbound email account, right? That makes a healthy email account. So periodically, I would say don't do it more than probably once a month, because if you have a healthy database, you're going to get 11,000 responses and you're like, I don't have time for this, right? So you're going to do it very seldom, but you need to do it so it's also inbound as well, not just outgoing. Step 5, grow and clean your list periodically. So let's talk about this. You want a healthy email account. So here, for those of you who are watching this on television or on YouTube, you can actually see the numbers on the screen. For those of you who are listening right to your ears, you can't see the screen, so I'm going to tell you what's on the screen. So remove inactive contacts every 6 months. I mentioned this already. When you're using an algorithm, and the algorithm shows you who are the email addresses that open your stuff, who are the email addresses who haven't opened an email from you in the last 3 months, 6 months, you're going to remove those people. But before you do, we are going to have one more engagement step. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Keep your list engaged. Don't keep dead weight. Okay, so if you're looking at the screen right now, my sets, and this is my sets year to date, we have sent out 4,133,000 emails year to date, and this episode is shot on November 12th. So year to date, we have sent out 4,133,000 emails, and I would say a very small database. So I have, if I remember correctly, about 14 to 15,000 active email addresses, which for me is small, because if you look at my Instagram, like I know someone commented a couple of days ago, that's a small email database. I'm like, it is when your overall follower just on Instagram is 89,000 people, right? So to me, it seems like that's very small. And then we're not even talking about my Facebook and my LinkedIn and all of the other followers. So I consider it small. But look what happens when you have a small email database. 15,000 emails sent out, one email a day. Year to date on November 12th is 4,133,000 emails. We have a 43.68% average opening rate this year, which means, let me zoom in because I can actually see the number. It is, I think it's 1,805,327 emails opened. 1.8 million emails opened year to date. Okay, think of it this way. If these people just spend $1 with me, sometime in 2024, they buy something for $1. That is $1,805,000. Right? So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the possibility, and the numbers add up very, very fast. Now, of course, you don't have to start with an email a day. That's a whole production. I have an email girl on my team. Her full-time job is to create the emails for all of these different companies. It's a full-time job when you're sending an email a day to a massive database, right, for each of these different companies, right? So I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Maybe you start with one email a month. It's kind of a recap of what's going on and what are the problems in the industry and how you have a solution for that problem. And then you might go into an email a week, and then you go into 2-3 emails a week, and then you go into an email a day, right? Like Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't want you to start being like overwhelmed about like, oh my gosh, right? But I want you to start and then add on and add and add on. And it is not your job, guys, to create the content. If you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. So eventually you're going to want to have an email assistant, and then use ChatGPT to make those emails sound like you. ChatGPT is like magic. So Carol, my email girl, actually uses ChatGPT all the time to make it sound like me and help, come up with the content. But now ChatGPT kind of knows me, and so is Carol, because she worked for me now for almost 3 years. So she knows all my stories, and she's Gogo'd out of her ever-loving mind. So because of that, she creates very, very, very good emails. Emails that when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I didn't write this, but I didn't. Right? Okay, ongoing list and building tactics. Continue offering lead magnets, run contests, cross-promote to other people's lists. So for example, let's say you went on somebody else's podcast, right? Just like you have your own database, they have their own database. You can say, okay, how about I promote you on to my database, and you promote me to your database, right? So cross-promotion to each other's list is amazing. Also running contests. So you could do one contest a month, and whoever responds to your email can potentially win a dinner to whatever restaurant or however you want to do it. But by doing promotions and doing contests, right, people are going to partake because they're going to want to win whatever that you have to offer for free. Re-engagement campaigns. Before you delete inactive contacts, this is the part that I said, hold on a minute before you just delete them. So before you delete inactive contacts, send a "we miss you" email with a compelling offer to re-engage them, right? So you can create an email template with the "hey, we miss you," and kind of in the description just say, "hey, for everybody," like he's like, "I lost you at some point. I would like to understand, why did I lose you? Is it just because I'm 166,000 email in your inbox? Is it because I wasn't providing enough information or resources and stuff that you were needed? What would it take for me to earn your business back, or earn your attention back, or eyeball back on my emails?" Right? And maybe offer them a 15-minute call with you, or whatever that may be. Of course, if you have 15,000 people in your database, you might not want to offer it to all of those people, because you're going to end up talking to people off of the internet. But you can find a solution for something that is going to re-engage them. If they don't respond to that email, you're definitely going to delete them. But if they do respond to that email, based on what response you get, you're going to keep them on the list or remove them from the list. Pro tip: your email list is like a garden. If you don't tend to it, it will become overgrown and useless. I don't have to tell you this. Nothing works unless you do. So if email is what you want to do, you just created yourself another job. Congratulations. Step 6, conclusion. The database is the foundation. Without a database, you're leaving money on the table. Every person on that list is a potential client or referring partner. Now I can see these numbers a little better right here. So it is 108. So same thing for those of you who are listening. I have it on the screen, the statistics from my year-to-date email list. 4,133,000 emails sent at a 43% opening rate is 1.805 million emails that got opened. Out of that, the click-through rate is 38,632. So my click-through rate could be a little higher, but also what affects the click-through rate if you don't have a link in the email. So for example, if you are sending out 15,000 emails today and there was no link for the reader to actually click, right? You just sent it because, hey, I need to tell you about this. I'm not selling you anything, because remember, you don't want to sell in every single email. Then your click-through rate is going to show like it's lower because there's nothing for them to click. So it shows like you sent 15,000 emails and nothing got clicked. Not because your audience doesn't want to click it, it's because you didn't actually put a link in there. Because I don't want you to sell in every single email, because you're going to lose them over time. That's why my unique opening rate is so high, is because I give value. So when they get my emails, half of them open it every time because they know they're about to get something that's going to benefit their business. So, but think of it this way: if they open it, which is 1.8 million of them opened it, what are the chances, if you stay in front of them, if you stay top of mind, they're not going to spend at least $1 with you in a full 12-month period, right? And if they just spend $1 with me in a 12-month period, that's potentially $1.8 million that I can make just from my email database. Building a database takes time, but it's an investment in your future. Start small and keep growing, right? So just like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't want you to look at it like, oh my gosh, I have to send 4 million emails. Like, guys, we've been doing this for years. Don't ever compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 58. That's a totally different part of life. Also, I have 14 assistants. How many assistants you have, right? I literally have a full-time email girl on my team. If you don't have that right now, that's fine. Build it out. Give yourself a year and build it out. Okay? Challenge. By the end of this week, create a lead magnet, get a CRM program, and collect your first 10 emails. Also have a look and see how many do you already have and tag them accordingly. So you might think you don't actually have an email database. Guess what? You very much do. You have been using email since the email era in the 2000s, right? Whenever we started the emailing, I got mine in 2002, my very first email address, right? The reason I know, because 2002 is in the email. It's in my email address because I didn't know back in the day how to create an email address. So it was my nickname plus 2002, the year that I created my very first email address. So I know from the date that I have it, right? So I want you to go into your existing database and see how many email addresses do you have currently. And then I want you to go in there and tag them accordingly. Is this a referring partner? Is this a lender? Is this an agent? Is this a past client, a sphere of influence? Is this family? What is it? And tag them accordingly. And then also decide what CRM program you want to use. Again, I use Go High Level. And I want you to collect at least 10 email addresses in your first week. In a month, by now, check in with us and share your progress. Send an email to assistant@gogopreneur.com with your results. Let us know how many emails you have collected, how your CRM setup went, and any insights from tagging your existing contacts. We're excited to see your growth. Commit to this and let's make it happen. So I'm doing this for 2 reasons, right? So here are the reasons. A, I want to hold you accountable. B, I want to make my email address even healthier. So when you respond and you send me incoming emails, right, it's going to make our email address even healthier. So if you would like to participate, let us know how you like this episode. What was your biggest takeaway? How it helped your email database and your email side of your business. Send an email to assistant@gogopreneur.com. I hope you found this episode very helpful. I hope that you're going to use email to benefit your business because it is very, very important. I feel like this is another arm to your business that is always going to be yours. You're going to own the database. You get to communicate the way you like to communicate, and you get to share links where people can automatically click it. You can sell them product. Don't oversell, right? It's build, give, then sell, give, then sell. And allow people to get to know you. When they know you, they trust you. When they trust you, you buy anything that you're selling. Peace out. Thanks for joining Gogopreneur. Keep that go-getter spirit alive. Until next time, go get 'em.